Cheers.
Yeah.
Let's do a speed run.
Do a speed run?
Speed run
ready?
talkies.
You guys ready? Hot takes and
Talking
pizza
to Karman Light Studios 3, filmmakers talking about movies. I'm kidding. Hello and welcome to the Talkies, where three filmmakers are talking about movies, and I'm Kenny.
I'm D.
I'm Taylor.
And today we are finishing an epic adventure.
Epic
Adventure through the world of Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon.
Yes, finally.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Finally.
So good.
Finally.
It's like Star Wars, but not good.
And Star Wars is often already not good.
Yes! Precisely. It's like Star Wars, but worse.
Oh, no.
Anyway.
Oh, no.
As if you've been following along, you already know that we've covered Rebel Moon Part 1 already. And it was such a horrible experience that we gave it an award called the Content Award, which is the recognition for being basically the worst possible movie you can be. That's what the Content Award is.
Yeah.
Because the word content is the ultimate insult to a filmmaker.
Right.
It's like, you're not making a movie, you're making content. Yeah.
Which it kind of, I mean, I don't know. This was on Netflix.
It's content.
It is.
It really feels more like content than art.
It kind of, it does.
It does. It feels like Zack Snyder's style content.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the last episode, I think I made the statement, and I'm going to say it again. Forgive my repetition.
Oh, yeah. We're never going to repeat anything else in the first
But it
episode.
was good, so I'm going to say it again. Zack Snyder has become what Ken Burns is to iMovie. You know the Ken Burns effect?
We have the
Drag and drop. I feel like this whole movie was someone drag and dropping a Zack Snyder effect.
Is that your hot take?
Nope.
Give your hot take.
No, I'm just recapping.
Give your hot take.
Catching people up. So let's get started. This movie is Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver.
Scar Giver.
Yeah. Okay, hot takes. My hot take was, I said was because I've already done this once.
We already did this.
That I fell asleep at least 3 times while watching this movie and did not feel like I missed anything.
Yeah.
That's my hot take.
That's a good hot take.
Go on.
I too fell asleep. Oh, briefly, not 3 times, just once, briefly.
Just once.
Briefly. And I might fall asleep again during this episode, just recounting the movie. And my true to the point hot take is this movie is a ripoff.
A ripoff. That's insane.
Rip off.
My hot take is I didn't like it. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah. I'm going to say...
I'll argue.
You're going to argue?
Yeah, just because.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was bored. I was so bored with this movie. I said that about the first one, but God, man.
This was worse.
You were falling asleep.
Yeah.
And I had to wake you up a couple times.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, and I have fallen asleep like during Matrix Resurrections. Robin Hood, I fell asleep. Winchester, I fell asleep. On these really bad movies, I fell asleep. And this one, I didn't. But I recognized the moments that I would have if I were more tired. there were the times.
You're like, oh, this is a sleep moment.
Yeah, exactly. It was like looking at the battle scenes taking place and just seeing nothing change and the stakes and whatever. And I'm just like, wow, like it's like if you're going to watch paint dry and you notice it hardening, you know, there's some changes in there and you understand it, but it's still watching paint dry. Yeah.
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 Ooh.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is worse than the first movie.
Definitely.
That's something.
And that's pretty bad.
That's something.
And I think the main reason I would say that is that the first movie had the semblance of an arc. In the first film, we had something kind of like a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
It was a very boring story arc. It was very archetypal. We have seen it a billion times. And usually when we've seen it, it's been better than this,
Yeah.
right? You know, the bad guys are invading. We're going to go find some heroes to help us, and we're going to team up, and we're going to fight, and then we're going to beat back the bad guys.
Yeah.
That happened in the first movie. That was completed, a completed arc. And it was really like...
Oh, they did complete it.
Sure.
I totally forgot about that.
They did.
They even
beat
killed the bad guy.
They even killed the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and now he was brought back to life.
Okay, wait.
Cool.
Now I'm confused because we said this was number 2 with it last time we did this episode. we said this was part 2, and it feels like a part 2. What you're saying, because it chopped off an arc that was there, but they completed the arc in the first one.
So this is why it's a number 2 instead of a sequel.
I see.
Right? A sequel would have its own unique arc to itself.
So wait, so is this a denouement? The whole thing is Act 3? Is that what this is?
No, it's Act 4.
It's Act 4.
That's what's wrong with this. That's why this movie's worse than the first one.
Oh, no.
The first movie actually had Act 1, 2, 3 and an ending. It was boring and not well made at all, but it did have beginning, middle, end. This one was another ending put on top of...
Right.
I mean, literally, the opening narration,
Yeah.
which the voice of the narrator is the droid.
It is, yeah. It's
the droid.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Who's Anthony Hopkins?
Anthony Hopkins, yeah.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
I know.
It's kind of disappointing.
I know. Yeah.
I'm like, Anthony, you deserve better than this.
Yeah.
But anyway, in that opening narration, they're literally like, and they defeated their enemies and lived happily ever after until
Right.
they just succeeded in beating the bad guy.
No, this is a false victory is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see that in a lot of great movies.
Yeah.
Look at Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Look at every movie. How about
Yeah, look at every movie ever. Return of the King and Two Towers have this moment where the good guys have just seemingly overcome all odds and won an underdog victory.
Right.
And they're about to cheer and celebrate when all of a sudden they hear war horns and they turn to the horizon and see that an entire another battalion is heading their way.
You know what's funny is that this actually has that in it.
Uh-huh.
This movie, even though that's where it starts.
That's what this movie is.
Yeah.
It's as if this whole movie should have been part of the third act of the last movie.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah, and that's why it's so boring because nothing changes, and it's one big ass battle scene. It's crazy.
It's 1 hour of slow motion farming and then 1 hour of battle
God damn
scene.
the slow motion farming.
That was
Yeah.
hilarious
Oh
when
my
you told me.
God.
When you told me about like, what this is the shot that you heard about or this sequence.
Yeah, I
People
heard
have been
about
talking
it. Yeah.
about this.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was.
It was a thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They leaned into it so hard. You know, it starts with Jamin Hunsu, whatever. Titus, that's his name. The character's Titus.
Titus.
Somehow he becomes like the leader of the rebellion.
So he just becomes.
There's no reason why, but all of a sudden he's the spokesperson.
It should be Korra, right?
I would assume. At least she lived on this planet before.
Right.
He just shows up and he's like, "Listen to me."
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Sure."
Sure.
And they do.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is like, we need to farm and do it well and do it fast.
And do it stylized.
We got to get it all done before they get here so we can hold that grain, and that's our secret weapon.
Okay, wait. Okay, the grain part confused me also.
There's a good reason for that.
Because did they harvest the grain because they wanted to do it before battle, or was there a point to it?
The point was that the bad guys are interested in this planet in the first place because of its bountiful resources.
Right. So it's like a scarce resource or something.
And so they're like, if we can gather up all the resources, we can like hold it hostage.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we have this long ass montage filled sequence of people working their ass off to farm. They're harvesting grain and making flour and putting it in bags in extremely dramatic cinematic the shots.
Yeah. But why are they doing that though?
Well, according to his speech, it's because their grain will be their secret weapon.
What does that mean?
It would have meaning if it had a payoff, but it did not. They claimed it would be super important, right? And they're going to like stash this grain away, and they won't be able to blow us up because we have the grain.
Is it because it's a sacred resource and thus we keep it for ourselves because they're not going to get it from us?
I think it's that they can't blow us up if they don't have the grain yet.
Oh, because they're literally coming for the grain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. However, that quickly becomes not an issue at all.
It's not
like,
at all.
Like 2 minutes into the battle, they're like, whatever, we'll blow up the fuck whatever we want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
And so a quarter of the movie is this, we're going to farm together. And it doesn't mean anything.
It is almost literally that long. It's so long.
It's really long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter.
It's so weird.
It means nothing.
But the slow motion shots of the first movie now make a little bit more sense with her doing the slow motion grain into the field.
So much more sense.
No. Like cinematically, it makes no sense, obviously. But yeah.
Foreshadowing.
I guess that's what it is. I don't know. Fucking whatever.
All right. So then we have after they do the long farming sequence, we get this crazy ass sequence of them telling their stories one at a time.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
This deserves special recognition because while we were watching the movie, the first one is Jaimin Hunsu's character, Titus.
He like stops everyone from dancing and says,
he's like, hey, I got something important to tell you.
Yeah.
Here's why it matters to me. Here's my story.
And he says that we should. He does say we should all say things that we regret or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But he does open up the ability. But go on, you were saying.
Yeah, so he tells his story, and we get a very stylized, very Zack Snyder flashback of his story happening, where he's like sees his people being destroyed or whatever it is. Very heavy.
Yeah.
And as it's wrapping up and ending, Dee literally says out loud, wouldn't it be funny if they all like take a turn now and do the same thing and we get a stylized sequence for all of them? And I looked at him and I'm like, no way.
No.
No way.
No. Why would that happen? And it does.
But it did.
It just literally happens.
It literally
I
happened.
hate that kind of thing. It's so tedious.
It's
especially when it's forecasted. It's like, okay, now he's literally like, we should
it's your
all
turn.
share
And now it's your
Let's
turn.
go around the table.
it was like a drinking game almost because I'm like no way they're gonna do this again. Like obviously no one would edit that sequence into a movie.
It reminded me of The Walking Dead.
How so?
And here's why. The worst sin of The Walking Dead was that they would always broadcast who was about to die by giving them a special episode send-off.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that's what Amy would say every time, like in Game of Thrones, when someone would start talking about the character a lot more. Like, oh, they're good.
Walking Dead was the worst at it. Though.
Yeah.
They would be like, if all of a sudden, if the whole episode is about Glenn and Glenn's just talking about his history and like we're just spending all this time with Glenn's backstory and his like internal emotions,
right?
It means he's going to die,
right?
Because they believe that's what you have to do to make their death matter.
Right, so people care about them.
Yeah. So it felt to me like this whole like one after another of these heroes telling their backstories, which honestly should have happened in the last movie when they were doing surprised. The team up sequence.
I was surprised, yeah.
It was literally like, okay, we're about to have this battle where all their lives will be in peril and some of them will die. We need to make sure the audience is invested in them, so let's give them the real emotional, heart-wrenching backstory for everyone.
No.
Ew! It's so ew.
That's just artificial as fuck.
Yeah.
It's just,
yes, it is.
It's gross.
Shit.
Or like you were talking about the shot where they left space on the side of a fucking
because it's like
shot.
It's one shot. It's an over-the-shoulder shot of Cora and her man talking.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
That
Gunner?
guy. Gunner, yeah.
Gunner.
And it's over the shoulder of Cora, and we see Gunner's face. The movie is anamorphic, but the way it's framed is Cora's head is center frame, taking up the majority. The back of her head, taking up the majority of the frame.
Right.
And then one little third has Gunner's face, very tiny in the frame. And then the other third of the frame is just empty.
Right.
It's just negative
There's
space.
just
Like,
nothing
why?
there, yeah.
Why are you going to shoot anamorphic and then frame that way?
Right. Which would make sense if it was like intended to symbolize something or something like that. Because like Mr. Robot, for example, is a show that has a lot of negative space shots, or even what's that other Netflix one, House of Cards has that too.
Yeah.
And what it's meant to show is isolation, but not this. When you're literally connecting two characters, this is where they kiss for the first time.
Yeah.
Like it's literally an intimate scene, and we have this weird ass negative space in here.
For no reason.
You know what it feels like? Is that the movie did not have a DP.
Man, that
You mean the
DP,
director?
the DP
Why would
was,
it feel that way, you guys? Why do you think?
Because the DP, he was too busy directing the movie.
Yes, the DP was Zack Snyder. And I honestly think he was fucking running gunning this movie.
It so feels that way.
Especially in the first movie, that two shot, the conversation between the girl and the robot,
right.
that had like 14 different setups.
It was crazy. Yeah.
in one conversation.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
you
had-
know what? I bet that scene was the very first scene of the whole production. So he was all excited, you know? He's like, all right,
Okay,
yeah.
let's try it over here now. Let's do it again from over here. Yeah. The whole movie feels that way,
It
honestly.
does. It's funny because when it came to what's her name, Cora was in one of the, I think it was in the ship where she's like blasting down corridors and stuff. I was taken aback by how planned the shot looked because she came out and it was, I think, yeah, it was right when she got out of the elevator and she did the fucking bowling pin thing. I don't know what the fuck that was about. She came out, she like pushed the guy and he like blah 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 blah. I'm like, all the other guys
Knocked
fell
over
over.
20 other people.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Love that.
I may have been asleep.
So she comes out and then suddenly it's a tracking shot and they do like basically what's it called? Then they do from another movie.
Old boy?
The corridor shot in here was so cool and it was tracked and it was nicely choreographed and it was weird.
Stood out.
Yeah, it was weird that it stood out. It was weird that I'm like, oh wow, nice. Then I'm thinking like, why was that nice? Why did I care? Yeah, because everything else.
It
sucked.
shouldn't have been nice.
It shouldn't have been.
Should have just been
have stood
normal.
out. Right. There was another moment that stood out. That was her talking to. It was Cora and the dude, the Nazi guy. Who do we call it? Discount Gillian.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Discount Cillian Murphy.
Right. Yeah, he came out and he said, basically gave her the choice of surrender yourself and we won't hurt anyone. And she said, okay, basically.
Yeah, but the other dude's like, no.
Right. But that exchange between them two was the most intimate part of the movie. Where because Zack Snyder has, I don't know why, this whole movie has such bad pacing. And all of us commenting during the entire movie stopped at that point. And we were actually watching the goddamn movie.
For the first time.
Yeah. And that was like, I don't know, hour 30 minutes in. Mm-hmm. That was crazy.
I feel like it's a movie that never had a storyboard. Or if there was, they just disregarded it.
I don't see how any of the shots of the grain were storyboarded.
No, I don't. It doesn't feel like a very heavily storyboarded movie. Like maybe some shots, like key shots, but
Yeah. Has Snyder been the DP of any of the other movies?
He's a music video person, so I'm pretty sure he shot.
Sure. I'm just
videos
wondering
and
about his other movies.
Oh,
Any of
I
them.
don't think
so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know who shot their own movie was Paul Thomas Anderson. Shot Phantom Thread.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's the DP on that.
Well, he did a fine job.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
That's a really well done movie.
he did a good job.
He did a damn good job. He is not like Zack Snyder.
No, they're not similar.
No. Zack Snyder's much more like Kurosawa.
Never say that again.
So Kurosawa.
Everyone who says that drives me nuts. I feel like Zack Snyder fans.
Who the fuck is saying that?
Zack Snyder fans.
Are there really
man.
people saying that?
Yeah,
Yes,
there
this
are.
is a Zack
Yeah.
Snyder fanism. Zack Snyder fans love to reference like people like that, Kurosawa and classic directors. But I swear they have never seen a Kurosawa movie.
No, for real.
I swear.
Yeah, no.
Kurosawa, fuck are they talking about?
Kurosawa, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. His,
Look.
especially Seven Samurai.
Snyder's greatest work was when he was adapting material where the literally all the shots were pre-decided.
Yeah, we talked about that last episode.
300,
Yeah.
300 and The Watchmen.
Already got storyboards.
It's a frame for frame storyboard copy
Yeah.
of the comic book.
Yeah, like we said, he's good at making cinemagraphs.
And then he brought in his own unique flair to it, right? In terms of the way he's incorporating music, taking that one frame and moving it in either like a really stylized way or a slow motion way, whatever it is. He's great at that. That's why those two movies are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But damn, if he has to do something where he's creating an image, where he has to create the image,
Right.
not so good.
And I think one thing that this whole part 1 and 2 question I think is like, where's the line between paying homage and being inspired by Star Wars or Kurosawa or whatever, and then actually stepping over into actually just ripping off, a movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it was ripped off in the first part. I don't know how much I could say was ripped off in this. But
This is what I would say. In the first movie,
Yeah.
we kept naming movies that were being ripped off,
Yeah.
right? If you watch that episode, I think we reference a lot of them.
There's a lot. Yeah.
But Taylor and I kept being like, not an original thought, because every 10 minutes we're like, oh, that's Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Star Wars. Oh, that's Raiders of the Lost Ark. Over and over again, right? This movie, 100% from beginning to end, is Bug's Life.
Right.
Just Bug's Life.
You said that.
That's what this movie is. They're literally collecting the grain
Yeah.
before the ants come. Okay.
Before the grasshoppers come.
And then they have before the grasshoppers come to take the grain from the ants.
Yeah.
And they're training the people to be ready to fight back after being docile and submissive in the past.
Right.
No, now we're going to fight back. It was so Bug's Life that if they had built a fake bird to hide inside of, it would have just felt normal.
And also Star Wars, obviously, but like, because we have a whole sequence where the characters go onto the Dreadnought, which is the Death Star, and one of them is even dressed up as a stormtrooper, just like Han, and they infiltrate and they take it out from the inside by placing bombs in the core of the Death Star Dreadnought. I mean, and then there's also a scene where a character gets her robot arm sliced off with a lightsaber.
Yep.
Like, at what point are we just ripping off movies?
Right.
Like,
And
there's
you
just
know-
no original thought. There's not like a spin on it.
Here's
There's
the
not
thing.
a unique angle.
You could do all those things in your original new movie, right? Like, you could come up with a movie where the good guys dress up like the bad guys' soldiers and sneak upon the enemy's ship.
Sure.
And find the core and plant bombs to blow it up. And
I mean, Star Wars wasn't the first to do it.
not at all. You could make a movie where all those things happen and still make it originally your movie by basically, I don't know.
What's the line? What's the twist? You know,
The twist is that your soul is a part of the movie. That's what it is.
he's exposing
that
himself.
You're
as,
seeing like Kurosawa and Lucas. Okay, we want to talk about Kurosawa and comparing him to someone. Lucas literally did make many of the same movies as Kurosawa.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay?
quite literally. Like Star Wars is a ripoff in and of itself too.
But not a ripoff.
No,
I wouldn't use that word.
I wouldn't literally mean that.
Yeah.
I said
the
it
reason it's
facetiously.
not a ripoff is because the soul and the spirit of George Lucas is a part of those movies. It makes it something new and fresh and different because we're seeing it, the same archetype filtered through a different human being and their creative experience and their own expression, right? It made it into something new.
So it exposes that Zack Snyder doesn't have a vision.
Yes, there's no soul in this at all.
Yeah.
Last movie we called it joyless.
Joyless, right?
Zack Snyder was in love with the idea of making a Star Wars-esque space epic.
Yeah. So that's
And that's it.
Yeah. That's
he didn't
what's
have an idea for a story.
Right. So it's kind of the same problem that I have a lot because I'm very visually inclined, and I was attached to Snyder when he first came out on the scene.
Sure.
And I really like highly stylized stuff like that. And whenever I write a script, it's usually based on just shots that I see in my head, not necessarily ever a story. And whenever I try to write a story that's about the shots, it's kind of strange to reverse engineer it. But then I realized that, oh, right, I can't write a story this way because the story is about the shot. And Rebel Moon is about the idea. I don't think
Right.
Rebel Moon is about a story.
Correct. I
Right.
agree, yeah.
It's about being a Seven Samurai Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's about having something to say yourself.
Right. And this is Can I Make Space? Mm-hmm. And he did it.
Like, I wonder how much of this is just hubris, meaning like an artistic savant kind of filmmaker, right? Like a auteur, right?
Right.
He's been ranked as that type of person by
He
many
is.
people.
Many people, and his fans will fucking kill you if you say otherwise.
Okay, yeah, so he's been put in that category before.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it'd be a stretch to say that he buys into that himself. That
That
he's an auteur.
Thinks he can make art.
That he's an auteur filmmaker.
Dare he?
And then as that auteur filmmaker to then be told by Disney, no,
Right.
we don't want you.
Oh, you're saying that this is a
Yeah.
punch up, basically?
We don't want you to make Star Wars. We don't think you fit in this space.
Yeah.
And that's what he wanted.
He says, nah, he's Drake.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'll show you.
He's Drake. What's his name? I'm going to say it now. Zack Snyder is the Drake of movie making.
What's really sad about the saddest thing about this, and I don't even like, I don't like shit. I don't like shitting on this movie, these movies.
Yeah.
Like I feel sad.
No. Okay. I want to agree with you there. I want
You want to.
to, but I'm not going to. No. Seriously though, but because sorry to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
we talked.
Cut me off. It's fine.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
cut you off.
have to cut Kenny off.
I'm okay with it. I like it.
There was one particular review that was saying there's so many haters of Zack Snyder out there, but people don't hate for no reason. They have, I mean, maybe if they're trying to fit
Yeah.
into the group or whatever, but like you said, you're sad that we have to talk about this way about Zack Snyder.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I'm not.
I am.
Yeah, like it's fun every now and then to talk shit about a movie, but it feels bad to talk about how a person missed the mark on something and dissect their art piece and be like, this is why it's not doing it. And we've done this many times with M. Night Shyamalan.
I was about to say Shyamalan.
Yeah. Well, Snyder, I will say this about Snyder, I agree too, is every interview I've ever seen with him where I'm hearing him talk, everything I've read of him speaking and
Yeah.
talking about what he does, he seems like a really, really nice, good dude. Like someone who would be really good to work for, you know, really kind, not an asshole. And there are some pretty big assholes in the industry for
Right.
sure.
That there are.
Yeah.
So
for
it's
sure,
like I don't hate Zack Snyder as a person, and I respect that he's doing his thing, but I just don't like his movies.
Right. I mean, yeah, and there's no we're not taking any of this personally. It's just explaining why we didn't like something.
But it's real
About it, and that's what's real about it. It's not because we get off on the idea that he's a worse filmmaker than others. It's just explaining.
Well, we've talked about this phenomenon before, right? Of filmmakers who are sort of the auteur variety.
Yeah.
I would even include George Lucas in that category.
Sure, yeah.
Right? He proves himself in the crucible of the demands of the industry and how hard it is to get a movie out there, and does the things you got to do, and he succeeds, and he does this amazing thing in making Star Wars.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Then he gets the reward for being that person, right?
You're talking about the proving thing we were talking about before.
Right, like he gets all of Hollywood and the press and the people basically say, you're amazing, you're great, you can have whatever you want, and the rules that the restrictions that we put on you before, they're gone now.
Right.
Do whatever you want.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he's not the same guy.
Right.
The films aren't the same way.
This is the same way we felt about Ari Aster, and we're still looking forward with his movies, is because when Beau is Afraid was still not sure if it's going to come out, when it's going to come out or whatever, when it was being announced, it was during that time that we're like, I don't know if it's going to be good, because now that he's proved himself with Hereditary and Midsummer, we might be seeing a downfall. And now that I saw Beau is Afraid, although it didn't make actually that much money, so
I don't know.
Maybe he still proved himself.
Money.
I don't know.
He's still a big question mark.
Well, he's only made 3 movies, and he's clearly reaching for. Cause I think there's proving yourself, but I think there's also like growth with each movie.
Yeah.
Each movie you make, if you're challenging yourself to do something you haven't done before, or something like that.
Yeah.
Which each one of Ari's movies is pretty distinctly different.
Yeah, Ari's a special person. I don't think he belongs in this conversation.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I would actually think a better comparison parallel would be the Wachowskis.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Like the Wachowskis, like literally as their fame and status elevated, their movies kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
I think they got to a state where it was like, you now have blank check status. We'll just give you whatever you want.
Yeah.
Make a Wachowski movie.
I wonder if Ridley Scott has that too.
That's when things tank.
Well, and also not every artist, filmmaker who's a breakout filmmaker, maybe they don't all have 100 ideas that are
Right.
worth making. Maybe the Wachowskis really only had a couple really good ideas.
Totally.
And it's hard to come up with ideas for features, you know?
That's what's weird about seeing Martin Scorsese come out with hit
Right.
after hit.
Well, he has a whole system, because he doesn't really he works with writers and adapts a lot of stuff.
Oh, you're saying he's a filmmaker.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He's got a process.
Right.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
also
director
is in
first,
that special space where he has nothing to prove.
Martin Scorsese?
Yeah.
Well, I would say Ridley Scott doesn't either, but Ridley Scott, I feel like he maxed out already.
Yeah.
He's been hit and miss for a very, very long time.
Has he been that way? Even
In my
so,
opinion.
Yeah. Zack Snyder, I think when we're coming back to is that he didn't have anything to prove here, and it was just to himself, like you said.
Right.
I want to be able to make a Star Wars, and he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I think he did. He made Star Wars.
He certainly did.
Yeah. that's what he did.
You know why this didn't
have
feel like
anything
Star
to
Wars? To me, it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie.
Because the script sucked.
Yeah.
And the story wasn't there. Absolutely.
No, you know what the biggest thing was?
What's that?
It didn't have an iconic score.
It didn't have iconic anything.
Yeah. No, actually, I would
was-
say the robot was pretty cool.
You know what? You know what this is? If you have Star Wars, you say Star Wars is, let's say, in an abstract sense, Star Wars is a cardboard cutout, right? And you're like, yes, Star Wars, I love it. Then you get a light and you cast a shadow on the wall. The shadow on the wall, that's Rebel Moon.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
That's actually the worst thing we've said so far about this.
That's what Rebel Moon
That's
is.
not good. That's not good at all.
I was gonna make my own thing, but I like yours better.
Shit.
Jeez, that's a pizza rating.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah.
You were saying you wouldn't call this a Star Wars
Yeah.
because of the music.
I agree. It doesn't feel like
It doesn't
Star Wars.
feel like Star Wars. It
Not at
feels
all.
like ideas were lifted from Star Wars,
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anything.
but it doesn't have the vibe. You know,
It doesn't have any vibe.
It has
doesn't have any
like
vibe. It doesn't even have a Snyder vibe. Quite honestly,
Not really.
no.
It's the Snyder
It needed a
effect.
song by like Bob
Snyder
Dylan.
effect.
Yeah.
It needed a Bob Dylan song or something.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
To really fit.
You know, I wonder if this had pop music in it, like his other ones. If that would.
All his movies since 300 have had pop music.
Well, if it had pop
All of
music,
them.
then I would say that would be at least some sense of a twist.
it'd
But
be something.
No, it wouldn't be because it would be a ripoff of Guardians of the
That's what I was about
Galaxy.
to say. That'd be a Guardians movie. And this honestly felt like a Guardians movie in a lot of ways.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! I was thinking about Guardians of the
Jaimin Hansu is in the Guardians
Right.
Yeah.
franchise.
Right. I was thinking about Guardians because of how much better the relationships between the characters are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that, and how much more I cared about everybody. It was insane.
Are you a Marvel fanboy?
Right. Well, that's the thing. Is like we've.
I
talked
am
about,
compared to this.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about how we really
I
don't
hate
like Marvel. And
I hate DC too.
Oh, thank you. But Marvel, if they know one thing, it's at least basic ass story structure and character relationships. You know, and this doesn't have any of that.
They cover the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually really good at that.
Yeah.
They're really good at let's win on the fundamentals.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that everyone makes fun of Marvel for cutting tension, right?
Uh-huh.
For throwing in a joke at the inappropriate time.
Yes.
But you have to have tension in order for that to work out, right?
Oh, okay, sure.
Jesus.
So
That's funny, yeah.
Yeah, so they know how to build tension. This one didn't even have fucking tension.
Yeah.
You just pointed another thing that this movie really could have used.
Stakes.
Any humor at all.
Oh, dude.
Sure, yeah, it is very self-serious.
It was so serious.
That's a Snyder thing.
You know, that is a Snyder thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's no humor in 300.
No, well, there's like one.
There might
scene.
be a little in Watchmen. There's not much.
There's like one scene in 300.
But if you're making a Star Wars movie,
Right. Ooh, wow.
there's a lot of that.
Wow.
There's a lot of that. Who's scruffy looking?
Right.
Right?
Who?
Han Solo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The stuff like that. You
Right.
know.
No, yeah, 100%. There was
My friend here doesn't like you.
The only humor,
I don't like you either. Right? There's so much of that.
The only humor in this was when they said that what's his name Titus doesn't drink, and one of the guys was like, "Gonna take your water with you." And that was
And it wasn't even funny. Not at all. Not at all.
It made him laugh. It made the
God
character.
damn.
That's the same thing as
All right. I have an
okay there,
important question to ask you.
Kenny. You kept covering up my camera. What's your important
Can
question?
you see me? You can't see me.
John Cena.
John Cena? Dun, dun,
You know-
dun,
You know how John Cena
dun,
is.
dun.
Are you sure about that?
Nope. Anyway. The important question.
What's the
The
important?
only question that matters.
Yeah.
good.
We gave the first movie the Content Award.
Yeah.
What do we do about this?
I don't know what to say about that.
Because this movie's worse.
It's really easy, guys.
All right, go ahead.
We give this one a content award too.
That's what I thought.
It's really easy.
Okay, we have a whole system for this. So who's
All right,
nominating?
I nominate
Oh God.
Rebel Moon Part 2 for a Content Award.
I second the notion.
Oh my God.
Woo!
Okay,
I
here we go.
give
What's
8
the
votes.
Holy shit.
Go on, Taylor.
Yeah, I'll give 8 votes.
Okay, I was gonna give 6. So there you go.
All right.
That's enough.
Okay, so congratulations to Zack Snyder Zack Snyder, you are the first ever recipient of the Content Award. Literally the reason we created the award, and the first ever back-to-back recipient of the Content Award. Congrats.
Nothing personal.
Oh no, it's fucking personal.
No.
This is a reflection on you personally.
I want to let people know that it's literally not personal, right? Not literally.
What do you mean?
I just mean we're talking
Wait, you're
about...
not being sarcastic.
I know. I understand the sarcasm here, but I mean, like...
Multiple layers.
Yeah, no, the point here is that it is a bad movie.
Yeah.
And that he's not a bad person.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
I did mean what I said.
I'm not saying that Zack Snyder...
I wasn't being sarcastic.
Zack Snyder's soul is not content.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a human being.
His movie is
Rebel
content.
But
Moon
his
Part 1
movie-
and 2 content.
Both of them are content.
Netflix content.
Yeah,
That's what it
and
is.
if you don't understand why that's insulting, it probably means you're not a filmmaker. So let me just explain that referring to your work as content is the ultimate insult
How about this?
to a filmmaker.
Imagine you're a filmmaker and then think telling somebody, I'm a content creator.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Creating content just means more minutes on YouTube.
Yep.
That's all
Well,
it is.
the very, very definition of content is something that is absence of art. It's taking something.
It just means
it doesn't matter what it
a
is,
thing.
and you just fill it somewhere.
Yeah, it's just putting it out.
This movie was like a reel. It felt like a cinematography reel.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And
Yeah.
it made me go like me and
And
Katie
I
said-
would have hired him
Right.
based on the reel.
Right.
It was
You
a
give
decent
this,
reel.
You give this and you go, oh, this guy looks talented. Let's see what he can do with a real movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Zack Snyder, you'll be receiving your dual content awards in the mail soon.
yeah, look
man.
out for those laurels.
Yep. And we definitely welcome you onto the show anytime.
And I hope to see those laurels on the Netflix poster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Content
100%.
Award winners.
Yeah.
Talkies, Karman Line Studios 2024.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
That's great.
Zack Snyder.
Oh, your camera is off.
Shit! You got another battery, Taylor?
Yeah.
Good.
You got another Taylor battery?
You got a battery, Taylor, another?
Okay, pizza review real quick. Let's
right.
go pizza right now.
Okay, we're recording?
Yeah.
Okay, hey. Whoa. Hey, guys. I got something.
Okay.
I got something.
What do you got?
Hey, what would you call Rebel Moon Part 2
I call it a movie.
if you were asked to compare it to a pizza?
That's crazy.
What do you think?
Okay.
If
I got nothing.
If Rebel Moon Part 2 was a pizza, what would it be?
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Let's
Yeah,
hear
say
it.
it.
What
Let's
is
hear
it? What is it?
It's a pizza where the sauce. It's sauce.
Is it?
It's sauce.
Go ahead.
It's sauce. It's cheese. It's pepperoni.
good
There's
so far.
olives.
There's olives?
Yeah, I don't like olives.
Oh.
They're on there.
But they're on your pizza.
Yeah, they're on there. I don't like them. They're on there. And there are one more ingredient on there.
Okay.
And that, all that stuff, all the toppings are burnt to a crisp, charred.
Oh, fuck.
Charred.
Oh, my God.
But the crust is dough. That's it. That's Rebel Moon.
Oh, God. That's pretty bad. Oh, I feel like gagging. Like swallowing that sounds really difficult.
The crust is unbaked dough.
Yeah, raw.
With burnt toppings.
With burnt to it,
Like they're
charred.
cooked separately.
Crisp. Yeah,
We
separate.
char
Yeah.
this and then we put it on the dough.
Yeah, like
my God.
black.
Seriously, I'm having a gag reflex. That is really bad.
That's gross. Oh.
You went next level, bro.
That's a bad time right there.
It came to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. What about
Okay,
you?
I got one.
Okay.
I got one. Regular pizza. Okay. You order this for delivery. They come in, you got the box, and they say thank you. It's a little heavier than what you would usually think.
Oh,
It's cool.
Sit down, put it on a table, you pop it up, and it's what you believe is a regular pizza, but there's dust on the inside. And so you don't know what. Yeah, there's dust. There's pizza, but there's dust underneath. And so you take up a slice and realize that There's toppings there. Choss and cheese.
Choss and cheese.
There's cheese and sauce.
Okay.
And pepperonis.
All right.
And the crust is drywall. So,
Oh, sheetrock.
sheetrock. Yeah. So that's it.
That's bad.
That's awful. Jesus.
That's this pizza.
You guys are making
That's this
me
movie.
feel like I can't eat tonight. I'm like, oh, God. Okay. Here we go. You ready for
Really
this?
dry.
All right. Imagine that Zack Snyder is a famous pizza maker.
I thought you were going to say, it's a famous filmmaker. I'm like, okay, I'll
that'd be
That's
too
a
hard.
low blow. That's a low blow.
Imagine he's a famous pizza maker, right?
Okay.
And every year there's an event down in San Diego called PizzaCon. Okay. Where people come together, they put on costumes, and we all just like get together to celebrate the amazing intellectual property that is pizza. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Okay.
Awesome.
And so you go down to PizzaCon because you're obsessed with Zack Snyder, and you want to get some of his pizza firsthand, right? And look into his eyes
Oh, yeah.
while you taste his unique brand of pizza. Okay.
Brand of pizza. Okay,
Yeah.
That's what you... that was
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So you get down there in San Diego. You wait and you register. You get into the convention center. You got your costume on. You're probably dressed up like a breadstick or some shit like that, right? And then you wait in line for the Zack Snyder session, right? Okay.
This session.
And so the time comes, and you've been there for hours. And after being there for hours, finally the time comes, and it's only at that moment that they put up a poster that says, "We regret to inform you that Zack Snyder will not be here in person today. Please accept this complimentary poster print of a Zack Snyder pizza signed by Zack Snyder." And you're hungry, man. You're hungry. You've been there. You've invested days and hundreds of dollars in this to happen, and you're in a costume, right? And they give you this piece of paper, and they're like, "Look, this is for you. Thanks for waiting." And it's just a print of a Zack Snyder pizza with his signature printed on it. It's not his real signature.
Oh, no, it's a printed signature.
Yeah, it's just printed, and that's what you're sent home with, and you can't eat it.
Wow. Oh, you just don't...
You don't eat it.
It's
need to eat
paper,
it. Yeah.
so you're not going to eat it.
Yeah, it's indigestible,
and
right.
it's just
could eat
there, and
You could
you're
eat
like, wow, this is very... I mean, it looks like Zack Snyder. It definitely looks like Zack Snyder. It is not satisfying. You're still hungry, and you're pretty let down.
Wow.
And your opinion of your hero has really been diminished.
What a solid metaphor.
There you go.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hate that. I would hate that. I have this pizza, it's delicious looking, and I'm hungry.
It's like, here's a picture.
God damn it. What was this? End us.
All right, so I'm going to end us now. Everyone,
Thank you.
Hold your blades to your jugular,
Oh, yeah?
and we're going to slash from right to left.
May your
Right to left.
may your pizza chip and
Shatter. This has been the Talkies from Karman Line Studios.
Nice.
Congratulations to Zack Snyder, the 2-time winner of the Content Award.
Just incredible.
And, we're here fairly often
Yeah.
making podcasts about movies where you can hear filmmakers talking about talkies.
That's right.
Next time, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows what we're going to do next?
I mean, who knows if you're going to wake up tomorrow?
We don't even know. We don't even know.
Who knows if we're going to make it home tonight?
Who knows?
Will there even be a tomorrow?
Who knows?
We don't know.
Who knows?
But the point is, if there is a tomorrow, there will be another Talkies, and you can find us on fucking what, YouTube and
YouTube's pretty funny.
Spotify and whatever else. All the places where podcasts are.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And we love you.
You should like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Whatever else. Thank you.
Whatever the
This
fuck.
is what Zack Snyder did to us.
Right.
Okay?
100%.
It's not my fault. Goodbye.
It's all this content, man. Fade to black.
Fade to black.